welcome to session 6 of our beginners program. This is one of our non-movement practices that we'll be working with breath. So first of all, get yourself set up so that you're comfortable and come into your body. So close your eyes and just start to connect with the thing that's brought you to your practice today. We're taking inspiration from our keys to success, one of which is something called Parakrama. It means courage. So it's about connecting with things that you find from that word. So courage to come into life, to connect with things that feel a bit risky or new. It can also mean coming into the unknown. So just feel into what it takes. It takes strength to find that courage to engage. So have that in the background and also feel into what it is to find your balance. So often we talk about balancing of the nervous system so that we're not feeling fully out or fully feeling too inward, that we find that place that's equal, where we're measured, we get to choose a middle path, which can often be one of the toughest to find, in fact. So just find where your system's feeling today. It doesn't matter, it's going to be worked with either way, and find the courage to engage with that. Okay, so as always, we start our practice with our Namaste Kriya of just engaging with what has brought us to practice today. So finding that back to you, that inspiration for your practice in yourself and sealing it in. So taking an internal bow to yourself for showing up, that it takes courage. Taking a bow to each other, that we practice as a group. And taking a bow to the yoga method. Namaste. Namaste. Okay, so start by engaging with your breath now. So just see if you can put a little bit more emphasis on the natural breath and start to elongate your breathing in and out through the nose and engaging with that inhale to lengthening it a little bit. And the same with the exhale out of the nose. So just noticing how it is. We're going to start switching on our Ujjayi muscles before we come into our next dynamic breathing practice. So just first of all, just start to find those whisper muscles at the back of the throat, feeling the expansion on an inhale to the top of the head, and that let go, that softening on an exhale. So just a couple of these pulses, just connecting with the breath, connecting with the body, and feeling the energy. They might be quite short to begin with, but they'll slowly lengthen as you encourage yourself to let go of that tension with the exhale. We're going to take a few R breaths. So we'll take first of all an inhale up the nose, and then an exhale, R breath out of the mouth, releasing tension with the exhale. Into the nose slowly. Exhale, R breath, releasing out. 2 more. One more. Keep reminding yourself of the Ujjayi breath. And exhale, R breath to lengthen. Okay, so just relax the breath a moment. And I'm going to remind you about how last week we introduced slight differences to our belly double breathing. So we've been using the double breath in the belly for the first 5 sessions or so, but we also introduced last time belly to chest and then into the chest. We're going to do that again today, but in a slightly different way to how we did last time. So instead of breaking them all up, we're going to do it as one continuous set of 15. So it'll be 5 double breaths in the belly. Then there'll be a switch straight away into 5 belly to chest, which looks like, and then it'll be 5 into the chest. Okay, so it'll be all as a continuous stream. If you find you can't control each part of your breathing, absolutely fine. Still continue with your belly breath. Just try and stay in rhythm as much as you can with all of us. But what you'll find is that you can mentally put your attention into these parts of your body. So even if it's completely imagined, it's still just as powerful. So imagine that that energy is going into belly to chest, or that energy is engaged in the chest. So do those switches in the mind with us. Okay. So to prepare for it, we do the same lead in that we do every time, which is take an inhale all together up to the nose, filling up to the chest. Exhale, our breath to release. Take a natural inflation and start with 2 exhales out of the mouth. Away you go. Belly. One more. Belly to chest. One more. To the chest. The last one. Exhale, our breath, empty out, release, and come into your first pause before then choose an inhale to fill up as much as you can. And then exhale, our breath, softening and coming into your energized stillness. So allowing your system to be still and placing your attention on the sensations that you can feel in your system. Connecting with the fizz of life in your face, in your head, maybe in the body. So feeling that connection you've created through your breath. So you're learning to be with the big body sensations. So stirring up energy, engaging the breath to create more energy in the sympathetic nervous system. But then the energized stillness to soothe and activate your parasympathetic nervous system. So you're doing a full workout of these extremes of the nervous system. Okay, we're going to come into our second round of those 15 double breaths. Again, follow in your own way, whether physically or using your mind's eye with the breath. Okay, so we take an inhale up through the nose into the chest. Exhale, our breath to release. Take a natural inflation and start with 2 exhales out of the mouth. Away you go. Nose. One more. Switch, belly, chest. Last one. To the chest. Last one. Exhale, empty out our breath right to your roots. And then inhale, rebounding up, filling up. Inhale, right to the top. And then exhale, our breath. Release, relax, and come into your energized stillness. Connect with your energy. So it's the energy that we're all made of, our connection to life. So feeling in your system, whatever fizz, tingle, just sensation you have, and placing your awareness with it, your mind's attention. feeling the energy that you're made of. We're going to come into one more round of this double breathing. So just remind yourself that you can dial this intensity up or down. So if you're finding that it's stirring up a lot of sensation, a lot of energy, just try and read it for yourself. You might be needing that, or it might be that today you just need to dial it down a little bit, softening your breath, dialing down the amount of energy you're putting into the breath, maybe by 50%. So you gauge it for you, but still try engaging with the 15 breaths, just one breath at a time. Okay, so we're taking an inhale now through the nose. Exhale, our breath to release. Taking a natural inflation and starting with 2 exhales out of the mouth. Away you go. Belly. One more. Switch. One more. To the chest. Last one. Exhale, empty out our breath down to your roots. Find that rebound point and then inhale, filling up to the top, to your skin. Holding and then exhale our breath, soften, release. Come into your energized stillness. Feeling that energy that you've created. Being with any sensation, dropping the judgment or opinion. Just come into feeling. And allow yourself to feel the edge of openness. Feeling what it is to open to new sensations, to new practices. So being with the energy you've created. We're going to harness that energy now by coming into our spinal cord, into our nervous system. So for some of us, we may not have much sensation in those areas. That's very normal, but it could also be because of accident or maybe an injury that's happened to you. You can still work with this practice with your mind's attention, with your energy awareness. So it's about placing your very powerful attention into this part of the body. So you're working with your mind, with your brain, and the way the body's still connected. Okay, so I'm going to be starting the wood block in a moment. You're going to hear the wood block, just get in time with it, with bringing your awareness, first of all, to the very base of your spine. So in whatever way you can, imagine the very, very base of your spine. So just coming to the pelvic floor. So imagine in whatever way you can, your energy condensing and coming to your pelvic floor. So as part of this practice, we're going to be naming different body parts and doing a rotation coming up through the spinal cord and vertebrae. But from it, we're actually going to be touching on something that's called a chakra. So it's an energy hub. It often is translated as wheel. So it's points of energy within our body but also our system in a larger sense. So it's working with these points, these very pivotal points of our nervous system and of our energy. So engage in whatever way you can. So in time with the woodblock now, come into the pelvic floor once more. And we're taking a breath into this space on the next woodblock. So breathing in. And then breathing slowly out, just focusing on the pelvic floor. We're going to do this again. So try and create more ujjayi breath if you can. Inhaling. It's for 6 seconds. Work with it your best as you can. Exhaling, pelvic floor. One more time. Just engage with those whisper muscles. Inhale. Exhaling, pelvic floor. Okay, we're going to travel now. We're going to come up ever so slightly. So inhale, we're coming to the tailbone. So we're going to take a couple of beats here. Exhaling out. Now just breathing into the tailbone. So keep imagining as much as you can, or feeling into exhaling this part of your spine. One more. Breathing in, tailbone. Exhaling out of the tailbone. Okay, ready to travel up again. So coming to the small of the back, inhaling. So imagine the point between your navel and the back, exhaling out. So lumbar spine. Inhaling again, same point. So it's at the very reverse of where the navel, the belly button is. Exhaling out. Once more. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, ready to travel again. We're going to come up between the shoulder blades. So inhaling up, traveling up to the point between the shoulder blades. Exhaling out. So it's at the back of the heart. Inhaling. Just feeling in whatever way you can, or placing your mind's attention there. Exhaling out. One more. Just feeling whatever way you can, your heart. Exhaling out between the shoulder blades. Ready to travel up again. So now we inhale to the base of the neck. So it's the very top of the thoracic spine. That knobbly bit at the back of your neck. Exhaling out. So it's always the back body we're using. Inhale. Exhale. Good. One more. So again, just breathing, feeling whatever sensation you can. Exhaling out. Okay, there's one more traveling upwards now. So we're coming to our midpoint of our brain. Inhaling up between the eyebrows and slightly further back into midbrain. Exhale. So it's the center point of our brain. Inhale. Breathing into that midpoint. Exhaling out. One more. Inhaling mid-center brain. Exhaling out. Okay, we're taking another breath in to the same point. Breathing in, but then we're going to travel back down. So it's an exhale down to the base of the neck, that top of the thoracic spine. We're breathing into that same point. And then we're traveling down again, exhaling to between the shoulder blades, back of the heart. Now breathe into this space. Now traveling down to the center of the back, to the lumbar spine. Breathing into that point. And then traveling down to tailbone. Breathing into tailbone. And then finally breathing down to our root, to our pelvic floor. Okay, remain here a moment, take a pulse. Inhaling pelvic floor. Exhaling out. Okay, each of these spaces have a name. So breathing into the pelvic floor, Muladhara. Breathing out. And we're traveling up to Swadhisthana, tailbone. So just placing your mind in whatever way you can there. Exhaling out, ready to travel up again to Manipur, the back of the navel. Inhaling. Exhaling from Manipur. Ready to travel to the back of the heart, Anahat. So inhaling up. Exhaling out of Anahat. Coming up to Vishuddhi at the base of the neck. So inhaling up. Exhaling out of Vishuddhi. And we're going to travel up to the center of the brain. Inhale, Ajna. Exhaling out. Taking another pulse of breath here. So inhaling, Ajna. And then the exhale will take us back down. Exhaling Vishuddhi at the base of the neck. Breathing into Vishuddhi. Exhaling down to Anahat, between the shoulder blades. Breathing in to Anahat. Then traveling down on the exhale to Manipur, the back of the navel, smaller back. Taking a breath into Manipur. And traveling down the exhale, Swadhisthana at the tailbone. Breathing into Swadhisthana. And then the exhale back to Muladhara, to your root chakra. So just pause here, take a breath into the root. And the exhale out. Okay, so we're now going to take another breath in, but before then we're going to come into, in a moment, a whole spinal breath. So this will be another exhale into the root chakra, Muladhara. Now just allow a smooth breath to travel. Inhale all the way up through the whole of the spinal column up to the midpoint of the brain. And then exhaling all the way back down again. So don't worry if this feels clunky to begin with. Inhale, just use your mind's awareness to travel up to the midpoint of the brain. And exhaling down. This is called spinal breathing. So we're allowing that inhale to rebound up through the spinal column, midpoint of the brain, and exhale smoothly back down again. It's like you're cleaning the pipe. Inhaling with your Ujjayi breath all the way up. And then all the way back down with that same Ujjayi breath. Just finding a smoothness through each point. Inhale. Exhale. Imagining that you're trying to suck up through a straw the energy, through the whole of the energy system to the midpoint of your brain. Exhaling back down. So your inhale, don't worry if you're finding your breath is shorter than the woodblock, you're still exploring it and working with it. Exhale, just join in when you can. Inhale. Just focus on finding your smoothness. Exhale. Allowing yourself to flow through each of those points. Inhale. Exhale. Okay, we've got 3 more of these breaths. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. 1 more. Inhaling all the way up to the top. And then allow an exhale, our breath to empty out. Forget about the root. Forget about even controlling your breath. But just come into your energy. Allow your breath to be natural in the background. And just feel the energy, the changes that you've made in your system. Be aware of your connection with your life. And drop any of the ideas around how it should or shouldn't be. Allow your mind to just let go of any thoughts that have popped up. Just let them play themselves out. But bring your attention to your center point. Come into the point in your heart, in the very center of your being. And then allow your energy to expand from that point. Be with the energy that you're made of. Feeling the changes you've made in your system. Feeling into the power of the breathing, of your meditation, of working with your energy body. Using this energy, we're going to draw the practice to a close. So harness this energy by bringing it into your core again, sealing it in with the Namaste Kriya, and taking an internal bow to what you've brought courage, what you've brought some balance to, that you've worked with balancing your nervous system. So really take that internal bow to yourself for trying something new. Taking a bow to each other for practicing together. And taking a bow to the practice itself, to the method. Namaste.